all. Welcome to Eat Well, Be Happy, a great new cooking show. I guess I have to stop saying new or not so new anymore. But I'm Deborah.
And I'm Connor.
And this is the first time Connor's on with me, so I'm gonna try do my best to make him very nervous.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So we're going to be making three things that are just great for the summer. When we all want to eat a little lighter, we want to be able to fit into those bathing suits, etc. So we're going to be doing a sort of an Oriental or an Asian dish with coconut water and lime and fish. And then you're going to be doing
Rosy beet detox salad.
Which is really great. We actually make that year round because who of us doesn't lead a stressful life, and we all need to detox a little bit. And then we're going to be finishing this off with something that can travel well to picnics, doesn't need refrigeration. It's a chocolate or a carob confection that I grew up making. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to poach our fish. And I have about 2 pounds of fish here. It's just a plain white fish. I can't remember what this one was, probably haddock or something. And if you wouldn't mind turning that on for me, Connor. And to poach fish, we're just going to cover it with some boiling water. So we're just going to poach this in that boiling water for literally 2 minutes, not more, because it'll be overcooked if we do it more than 2 minutes. Tyler, I forgot to leave that pot covered, so if you wouldn't mind covering that pot for me. And while the fish is poaching, we're going to get the rest of our ingredients in there. So we're going to be using some cucumbers, and I have these cute little pickling cucumbers, and we're just going to sort of slice them and get them into our bowl. And I'm going to cut off the ends, put the ends into my compost bucket for the garden, and then just cut these in half. And actually, I'll make little, I'll quarter them. So you want to slice it lengthwise and then just half again.
Now there's no need to seed these, right?
No. These are not those big, humongous, fat, seedy American cucumbers. Why did we ever start growing those? I don't know.
I don't know. I really enjoy the seeds. They
You
give
do?
a nice texture to it.
Yeah. All right, so we got our half of our cukes in there. And I like the salad because it has things that are not only a little different in flavor, but they're just very refreshing in the summertime.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm trying not to cut my finger. All right, cukes. And I love to use this cleaver.
More than a
All
chef's
right,
knife?
do you mind use a pot holder so you don't burn yourself? And I think that's probably going to be just about ready. If you wouldn't mind, Connor, just test. It looks maybe like another 30 seconds or so. I was looking, that's not quite, it's still a little gray looking instead of being translucent. And one way you can tell if your fish is ready, if you just poke it with a fork, and if it starts to flake, then you know it's done. So you might want to just get a fork and, all right, and then we're going to cut in 2 scallions. And you can see these are kind of grown like topsy in the garden. They're a little bit overgrown.
So this is about ready?
Yeah, I think those are ready. So Connor's going to drain the fish for me. And then we're just going to... Connor, when you drain it,
Yes.
then let's put it back in the pan uncovered in the fridge just so that it will cool a little bit. We could put our fish in the salad right away. Because I already have the cucumber in there, I did it wrong. I meant to make the dressing first, put the fish in it, let the fish marinate, but I did it wrong. So we've got a vegetable in there that would cook with the hot fish. So we're going to try and cool down the fish pretty fast. So we want to put this in the fridge for, or if you can find room in the freezer, that's good too. All right. So we've got plenty of scallions, I think. And then we're going to add some ginger. And I like to keep my ginger in the freezer because then I don't ever worry about it spoiling. And so I'm just going to grate some ginger. So let's see. Actually, let me add the liquid ingredients first. So we're going to add some coconut water. And there are tons of coconut waters on the market nowadays, but it'll just give it a very light, lovely flavor, and it'll also replace any electrolytes that we're missing. Coconut water is high in potassium, so if you have leg cramps, that might be helpful too. So about a half a cup of coconut water, and about how much? About a half a cup, about a half a cup of rice wine vinegar. And if you don't have rice wine vinegar, of course, you can use a raw apple cider vinegar or a wine vinegar, a regular wine vinegar.
Now with the ginger, you're not worried about the skin being grated too?
No, I'm not worried about the skin, particularly because it's organic, so I'm really not worried about the skin. All right, so ginger, my recipe says that I want to put in about 2 tablespoons of grated ginger. And you can see when you look at it, do you see the skin?
No. Not noticeable.
Nobody's going to say, God, she left the skin in there.
It smells lovely though.
Yeah, it does. So we want about 2 tablespoons of this. And you can see I'm shredding it when it's frozen, and it works like a charm.
Is it much more difficult when it's fresh?
I think it's easier when it's frozen. It's fine when it's fresh, but I just like it frozen a lot better. All right, does that look like about 2 tablespoons?
Yeah, that's good.
All right. Would you like to throw that in this little freezer here for me?
Absolutely.
Okay. And the next ingredient we're going to put in here, of course, is one of the most important that really makes this work, which is the lime juice. And yes, you could use lemon, but lime is just incredible. So I'm going to roll these for a minute just to try and loosen.
Now, is that the trick to juicing them?
It certainly helps. I've seen somebody else on television, a chef, Sarah Moulton. She always puts hers in the microwave, and she said that makes them give up their juice.
Really?
And while I'm sure that works, I prefer not to use a microwave, so I try not to. I just don't trust them.
Yeah.
So we're going to get our limes, and I think we'll try this little handy dandy squeezer squozer. So we want about 6 tablespoons of lime juice, and this is a nice juicy one. We're very lucky.
Yeah.
So I think if we do 2 limes, that will be just perfect. Although these really seem to be much juicier than most limes I've worked with lately.
And these seem pretty large for this time of year.
Yep. All right, so we got another lime coming along. And you can see if we had made the dressing first and put in the coconut water and the rice wine vinegar and the lime juice and all of that and put the fish in it, it would be great. It would still be great. Which just goes to show if you make a mistake in the kitchen, you haven't made a mistake, you've just done something different and new. And you don't worry. All right, so we've got our lime. And now we're going to put in a couple of garlic cloves, and I have lost my garlic press. Would you see if that's in the sink?
Yep.
I bet you that's where it is. So in the meantime, I will do the salt. So about 2 teaspoons of salt. And we're going to put in also a red onion. Thank you so much. All right, so that's the hardest thing about that, is getting it to stay in the right position. All right, so we're using about 6 cloves of garlic.
I love the taste of garlic on anything.
I love it too, and it keeps away the vampires, keeps us healthy. Really boosts the immune system. And I know if what my mother used to do, if she felt she was exposed to someone who had a cold, or if she felt a tickle in her throat, or felt her nose a little fuzzy, she would make a piece of toast it really till it was nice and crunchy, and she would take 6 cloves of garlic and rub it all over that toast, and then she would eat it. And she loved that. And it got to, I think I've said this before, but it got to the point she ate so much garlic that she didn't smell of garlic at all anymore. That's not been my good luck. All right. So about a half an onion, or this will be about a cup's worth of red onion. And again, I'm making this so that it will feed about 6 to 8 people, depending on what else one is eating. You can easily have this, and you can easily double it. So I am using, as I said, about a pound of fish for 6 to 8 people.
And does this work with any white fish you can find?
It works with any white fish. It would work with salmon. It would work with, it does work beautifully with tofu too. Tofu just loves these flavors. And it works if you want with beans. So you can do all kinds of things with
Very
this.
versatile.
Yep. All right, and now we're going to add the pepper. So I want about, it depends on whether you like peppers. Some people don't like bell peppers, so you could use a half just for some color. I've chosen to use a whole red pepper and a whole orange pepper. And so that's what we're going to do.
Now, have you noticed different tastes with different color peppers, or is that just?
I notice more
aspect?
according to where it's where it's grown.
Yeah.
Because soils are different depending on what part of the country they are and how they get fed. So I notice more about that. So in the wintertime when we can't get local peppers here and we get them from Holland or from Israel, I find that they do taste a little bit different.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's our red pepper. Now, if you grab that fish for me.
Yep. Nice and cold.
Nice and cold. This also calls for a jalapeno pepper, which I forgot to pick from the garden. But we're just going to pretend it's here. And people can always add a little cayenne at the table if they want, if you don't have a jalapeno.
I'm sure some people appreciate the mildness.
Okay, so there's our fish. Thank you very much. And it's still a little warm, which means it'll absorb the flavors probably really well. What do you think about those nasturtiums from the front yard? Do you think we should put those in here?
Yeah, those would be lovely.
All right, maybe we'll try that. But in the meantime, maybe we should taste this for salt and pepper before we put it, let it sit to absorb the flavors. What do you think?
That's a good idea.
All right, so let's see. So you taste, because it may need salt. I didn't add very much.
No, that's good.
Good.
Perfect.
Oh, I must say I like my own cooking.
Now, where's the saltiness coming from, since we haven't added any?
Well, we've added lime. Remember, we did a lot of lime. We did the rice wine vinegar. So coming from all those things. Oh, ooh, is that good?
Very nice.
Okay. So let's put the nasturtiums on there.
May I grab the dishes?
Please. If I can find where Robin put them. Here they are.
A lot of people don't know that some flowers are edible.
Yeah,
It's a
that's
very
true.
nice thing to expose yourself to more exotic foods.
So again, just saying, I did this incorrectly. I should have had the fish in the dressing first. So the fish is probably not going to absorb the dressing as we would have really loved it to.
Yep.
But in any case, that is what it is. And here's our nasturtiums. Right in the center is a kind of a focal point. We'll put one on like a lily pad, and we'll put that over here. And while I start cleaning up, you're going to get your things ready.
Okay.
So do you need my knife or my...
I have a knife.
Okay.
Thank you.
So we'll just wipe off the board for you so you can get started. So Connor,
Yep.
you're kind of a new cook, aren't you?
Yep. I've been here for a couple months with you
Yeah.
guys, and I'm really enjoying it.
And enjoying it more than you thought, or feeling challenged enough?
I'm definitely feeling challenged every now and then.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a good type of challenge.
All right. So you're on now with
So-
this wonderful detox salad. So move all your ingredients over here.
Now we're gonna make a rosy beet detox salad, and it's called a detox salad because it actually has probiotics in it. which really helps your intestines and your digestive system.
They're the happy bugs for your gut.
Yeah. So the reason we're not just using fresh beets is because there are actually a lot of benefits to fermenting your beets. So not only can you preserve the beets without losing the flavor, you can keep the nice color, and it adds those probiotics. So we're going to start by opening our beets and straining the juice from them.
And can I just say that every culture has fermented cultured foods
Yeah.
and vegetables, and and there are lots of companies that make cultured beets. We happen to have 3 different kinds from 3 different companies in our store, but this is a Massachusetts company.
Yeah, it's
and
local.
It's local, so they do a really nice job.
And you do not want to throw this beet juice away because it's very healthy and it actually tastes very good. So you can save this for later. If I can get it out of the
I think you
jar.
probably need a teaspoon, or you won't be able to dig in there.
Beets are tricky vegetables.
And they stain like crazy.
Yeah, you do not want to get these on your clothes.
We use them as food coloring in the kitchen too. So instead of using an artificial food coloring, you can use some beet juice, and it really does the trick.
So now we're just going to set these off to the side to drain while we prep our other ingredients.
You need your salad bowl.
Yep.
All right, here you go.
We're going to be using 1 cucumber, and we're not going to skin it because a lot of the vitamins in the cucumber itself are actually in the skin. We're just going to take the ends off, put those in our compost bowl, and typically I just split it down the middle, and down the middle once more on both halves.
Boy, we both use cucumbers.
Yeah,
It's a good thing the chocolate dessert doesn't have cucumbers.
cucumbers and chocolate could be a thing.
I don't think so.
So as with Deborah's recipe, we're not going to seed these cucumbers. It's lovely the way they are.
Did you know that they originally called these European or English cucumbers, and their nickname is burpolus?
Yeah?
Because they don't have the big seeds, which make some people burp from cucumbers.
All right, so to that we're gonna add some celery. Now you don't want giant chunks of celery, so if one is too big, you're just gonna split it down the middle, like so. And this just adds a nice crunch. Even though the beets already have that nice crunchy texture, it's just nice to have some varying things in your salad.
And they're also high in sodium, so they actually help replace
Yeah.
liquids that we need and electrolytes. Very satisfying. They say that, I'm making this up because it's not exactly accurate, but they say each stalk of celery may have about 25 calories and takes you about 35 to digest it because of the fiber. So if somebody's on a diet, you could eat a whole head of celery every day and lose weight if you don't supplement with ice cream.
I know a lot of people like to put cream cheese on it.
That's true.
All right, so we have our cucumber and our celery. Now we're just going to do about 1/2 to 1/3 of a red onion, depending on the size.
Boy, we're going to get a bad rap. Everybody's going to say all they use is garlic and onions.
They all smell like onions.
We'll have to think of something different.
All right, so we'll add our onions. And now this is very, very simple to do. We're just gonna prepare the dressing for this, which is just olive oil and lemon juice and a little bit of black pepper. So about 1/4 cup of lemon juice.
Yeah, and what it does is sort of cuts through the sourness of the cultured beets, or the fermented beets,
Yeah.
and adds a brightness rather than just a sourness.
There's olive oil.
Nope, that's olive oil's right there, yep.
All right.
So you're using about 1/3 cup of lemon juice, and how much olive oil?
Yeah, equal parts about.
Okay. Pretty good eye, Connor, pretty good eye.
And about 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. That's about 1/2. And just give that a quick mix. All right. And now
Voila.
our beets have separated from their lovely beet juice. You can set this in the fridge and save it for later if you like. Just add these to the party. And this might be more dressing than you need, but you can add it as you like
Oh,
it.
never too much dressing. I'm
Never.
sorry. Not for something like this.
All right. And typically add a little bit of parsley just to give it some nice color. You know, it has a lot of nice purples. Get some dark greens to contrast it.
Yeah, but parsley is also good for detox.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good.
So just get rid of the large stems so you don't end up chewing on very fibrous stems. Chop this up lightly.
He's waiting for me to say something sarcastic. I could tell. I was going to behave myself for once.
The parsley always fights back. It doesn't like to be chopped.
That's true.
All right. Now what do you think? Hand mix or with a spoon?
Oh, I think that you want to mix with the spoon because your hands will get all red.
It would be a nice color.
Yeah. This is a nice condiment as well. So, you know, it's not like when you sit down with a bowl of tossed salad, you can really eat a huge portion. This is, a small amount goes a long way.
Absolutely.
And they do say, as a matter of fact, that if you have a spoonful or a forkful of a cultured fermented vegetable before each meal, you don't need to take digestive enzymes or worry about how that affects you.
Yeah.
Oh, that's very pretty, but I think you should taste it.
Yes. Would you like a taste as well?
Sure, I definitely would.
You're right.
Thank you very much.
Now what's nice is as this sits, the cucumbers will actually absorb some of that beet juice. And it'll start to turn a nice light pink.
Mm-hmm. Very refreshing.
Very good.
Very
Plenty
refreshing.
of salty.
Little salty, you said?
It's good. Because the saltiness comes from those fermented vegetables.
Yeah. Good.
Take your spoon.
You may take my spoon. And I need my little washcloth here. So I'm going to move this out of the way. The thing that I like about the meal that Connor and I are making is that we almost don't need to use a stove or the oven because it's summertime and you don't want to heat up your house. And not everybody has access to a grill.
And it's very quick.
Yeah,
Quick and
it's
easy.
very quick. I mean, that salad, what did it take? 5 minutes to make?
Yeah.
Unless, of course, you want to culture your own beets, and that's a whole nother story.
That could be a fun project.
All right, so if you want to move some of those things out of the way there, that would be great. And the next thing we're going to make is an old-fashioned treat.
Now where did you learn this recipe?
This one, I didn't have to learn it the hard way at all because my mother used to make it for us.
Yeah.
And we used to have it as a snack when we came home from school. And like many other recipes, it has hundreds and hundreds of variations on the theme.
So it's easy to change based on what you like?
Yeah. It's like most of the cookies. I need you to open that. It's like most of the cookies I make, they're kind of one bowl, one spoon. So this is another sort of something like that. All right, so let's... Okay, so in the store, we call these Beatrice Stark's, carob confections, but we're going to make them with cocoa today, with not with carob, which my brothers heartily hated and always felt that she was trying to cheat them whenever she gave them carob. So it starts with about a cup of honey, and this is a local Massachusetts honey, and you can tell it's starting to turn solid. Whoops! As any unfiltered honey will do. So it will, and if you want to get it liquid again, you just put the jar in hot water or warm water simmering, and I think I'll have less than a cup as sort of a scant, and it will liquefy again. So we have our honey, and again, the Romans used honey to heal wounds. I mean, they used it for all kinds of things, and it's true that if you have a cut or if it becomes infected, you can just pack it with honey, and it truly will heal. And I had thought to do a pistachio nut butter, but instead I'm going to use peanut butter, which has always been my favorite. And again, this is a really nice peanut butter from Vermont. Who would have known they make peanut butter in Vermont?
I know a lot of people when they see these natural peanut butters and any of these butters made out of nuts, they get worried when they see it separating like that.
Yeah.
But it's nothing to worry about, right?
No, that's just, it's not been homogenized, so the oils just come right to the surface. So I'm choosing a crunchy peanut butter. And I like this one in particular because they're using the little red peanuts and they're using the little red paper shell, which gives you a lot of extra vitamins. They're not taking it off at all. So we want to, here, we're just gonna mix our honey and our peanut butter until it becomes kind of liquidy. All right, so I'm gonna add about a teaspoon of cinnamon for flavor.
Yep.
And I'm going to be adding, again, you can use anything. My mother used to use an unhulled sesame seed or sunflower seeds, but I'm going to be using about a half a cup of hemp seeds.
Yeah.
And I've decided to put, oh, I should have put my cocoa powder next. Shame on me. Now it's going to be hell to mix in. All right, so I'm going to use about a cup of cocoa powder.
Can't have too much cocoa powder.
And again, I'm using one that is natural and organic. As far as I'm concerned, cocoa and chocolate is especially important to do organic because, and fair trade, it means the people who are raising it are being treated right because that is one thing where they're really using a lot of child slave labor to process those products. All right, so the next thing I'm going to be putting in, about a half a cup of cacao nibs, which is the whole cocoa bean that has just been cut. So that'll give it some nice crunch. And the other thing I'm going to be putting in, which is a half a cup of soy granules, which we don't use very much anymore. But again, it's an old, you can tell by this label, you can tell how old-fashioned a product this is. This has been around since I've been a little girl, same packaging. But this little half a cup of soy granules is giving us, about 16 grams of protein, which is a huge amount. So I'm just gonna put all those off to the side there, if you don't mind. And now I may get in there with my hands. I'll give that to you too. And I'm going to add about a tablespoon of vanilla. And in about 2 shakes of a lamb's tail, we're going to roll these. So let me just see if I've gotten everything pretty well mixed. All right, so you just take a little bit in your hand and roll it, and then we'll just put it right on our, I'm going to wet my hands so it'll be easier.
Okay. Now, have you ever tried coating these in anything?
You can, but they have so much in there so that I just figure why bother to coat them. I mean, I have made them and coated them in pistachios, chopped pistachios, and that was good too. How about tasting them before you continue rolling them? They haven't had a chance for the flavors to meld, but taste it and tell me what you think.
That's lovely. It's a very nice crunch.
Yeah? And if you were not a natural food person, would you still like them?
Yeah, it's like candy.
Yeah, so you would think that a normal person, a non-natural food person, would really enjoy these.
Absolutely.
I just want to make sure. All right. So Connor and I have had great fun being with you in the kitchen today. And our hands are in these very messy cocoa confections. So we have made for you today
Rosy
detox,
detox salad.
And we've made a marinated fish salad with coconut water and lots of lime juice and some nasturtium flowers. And we notice how these are all, that one is getting very big. Is that one for you? Is that why you're making it very big?
Maybe.
So we've loved having you, and come join us again soon, please.
Thank you.
Your hands will look like this too if you make these. Bye.